Hi, everyone. Welcome. I am Christine Hides, author of the website Christine V. Hides, and I am also a children's minister and director of Christian education. Thank you for joining me here today. I'm actually going to say something that is a little bit unpopular. All of us have been running around the last few days and maybe even a week or two trying to figure out how we're going to reopen our ministry. And things have gotten a little bit frantic. We're measuring, we're checking documents, we're calling all of our colleagues, and these are wonderful things to do. But I am going to suggest that for the next day or two, we press the pause button. Here's why. Uh, we have been operating in crisis mode for maybe about 8 weeks, and we're tired. We are also realizing that we are experiencing some loss. I've heard multiple people say, "This is not what I signed up for. This is not what I was called to." And you're right. This is hard. It's a whole new world. And as the guidelines continue to come out, we find that whatever normal seemed like to us, it may be a very long time before we see that again. So let us take a deep breath and let us think about what it is that we can be doing now that prepares us for the longer term plans that we will need to put into place. So, the first thing that I would suggest is that we ground ourselves in our why and our who. I have a vision of what our plan will look like, though I've pressed pause on creating it, and I'm going to show you. It's just a really simple diagram of a teeter-totter. So why we do what we do, our mission and our purpose, these are not changing things, right? All of us in Ministries of Faith Formation have some form of statement that says our goal is to nurture disciples for Jesus Christ, right? This has not changed, but the ways in which we do that likely have drastically and for longer than we hoped. So on one side, we have our online ministry, and on the other, we have our gathered ministry. And as we move forward and backward in whatever phases our states or governments are creating, we will need to be able to tip back and forth a little bit smoothly. The only way that we can build a teeter-totter that runs smoothly is to make sure that we have named our why and that we've grounded ourselves in who we are and what kind of leaders we're going to be. Because the other unpopular piece of news that I have for you is that you are likely going to make someone unhappy with your decisions in the next few weeks and months to come. And so it's important to name your leadership values. Do you lead from a place of calm? Do you lead from a place of faith? Do you lead from a place of collaboration and transparency? Those are just a few of the things that you can name. And if that potentially negative feedback comes, you can stay grounded because you know you are rooted in your why and you are rooted in your values and you are living as Christ calls you into servant leadership in a very uncertain time. So that's the first piece of advice that I have for you about grounding yourself in your why before you do any more planning. You'll get to all the phases, all the phases and the things that you need for children's ministry versus youth ministry versus the nursery and the sanitation. You will get there. And you have already built a prototype for what your online ministry looks like in the coming months. So now you take that prototype and you will be, redesigning, revamping based out of what your people need and want and your context, and it won't feel so crisis oriented. But first, we'd have to do that why part. So, my friends, those are my two kind of pieces of advice are to take a pause and to go ahead and name what you've lost, what you're feeling, and name what you're noticing. You're likely noticing some things that are uncomfortable, and you're noticing some ways, new ways that God is moving in our midst. And then before you get to the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts, before you start measuring and thinking about the practical things, ground yourself in your why. Reread your mission and vision statements and your goals. And I think what you'll see is that what you're about, what your ministry is about, has not changed. And God will be with us as we create this new teeter-totter that we'll need in the weeks to come. Thanks for listening. I hope to have more short videos about the practical side of both online and gathered ministry, hopefully in collaboration with colleagues. But I wanted to get this out to you for the weekend to just say it's okay to take a breath, to pause, and find that calm, quiet center before you get into the nitty-gritty details. Thank you again. Stay well, and God bless you.